Welcome back, VC Mark here. I thought I would post a birthday video. My birthday was on September the 13th. I turned 52. First off, I stole this idea from Shaun at Shaun Spins. Shaun recently celebrated his 45th birthday. He picked 45 singles out of his collection, featured those in his video, shared some great memories, some great stories. I'm going to attempt to do the same, although I have 52 to get through. I grabbed some specific singles, but I found I was spending too much time kind of handpicking, so I just grabbed a bunch out of my collection. All of them have memories attached, so I'm going to go at it in that fashion. I've linked Shaun's channel below. Please go check out his channel. He has wonderful content, great production values, very knowledgeable in regards to the music that he features. He just has a wonderful channel. Okay, so I'm going to start out with probably my earliest memory of listening to music. We had an old RCA Victor 45 player in the house. It was just a little black square, and I used to grab my mom's disco round cases and just play singles endlessly. The first artist I remember listening to was Chuck Berry. Just a great songwriter, great lyricist. Really captured the youth of the day in his lyrics. I have a player similar to the one that we had in our house. I'm going to show you it right now. And on that player sits Johnny B. Goode on Chess Records, still one of my favorites. This is another one of his that I really love. You Never Can Tell. That's a rather rare sleeve. Those cases were also filled with Beatles singles. Loved the Beatles, loved Ringo. It's just my idol when I was a little kid. I wanted to kind of grab a picture that would tie some of these memories back to some of these singles. And I grabbed this picture of myself. I must have been maybe 10 or 11 years old. And actually, getting back to those pictures, I noticed that Ringo had towels on his drum heads that kind of muffle the sound. So of course you want to imitate the people that you admire. So I ended up doing the same thing, and I kind of laughed at this picture. I have a towel over my snare just like Ringo would. I know, little geek. I think this was at a Christmas concert. I think I was chosen to play the solo. Anyway, he was just a huge influence on me. I did not have a Ludwig kit like his at the time. Those were very expensive, but eventually I bought a kit very similar to his, and just very influential. So I did not pick an early single. I picked this single. This is Nowhere Man. And this is off my favorite Beatles LP, Rubber Soul. Just a beautiful sleeve. It's like new. This is probably one of my favorites in my collection, and it's on that Capitol label. Okay, so in the 80s when I grew up, there was great pop music. So many iconic artists came out of that decade. I'm gonna start with Madonna. Those first few albums when she was collaborating with Patrick Leonard and Stephen Bray, phenomenal. I love most of her output, but those early albums, especially Like a Prayer, are amongst my favorite. The photography, she just had such a influence on the culture. Just loved her music. Saw her maybe 3 or 4 times in concert. Some of the best shows I've ever seen. Again, another drummer that I idolized, Stuart Copeland. This is Every Breath You Take. There's There's not a bad album in their catalog. This thing was awesome. They all were awesome musicians. Prince, probably my favorite artist, and even his B-sides were phenomenal. And this is one I just really loved. This is Irresistible Bitch. Real funky, of course, what you would expect from Prince. But more than anything else, Prince was a fantastic pop songwriter. And he would, he loved Fleetwood Mac. He loved the Beatles. He loved Joni Mitchell. He was he just stands alone still. There's no one like Prince. Blur, Look Inside America, and MOR. Of course, there was the Blur versus Oasis. I don't know if you call it competition, but whose side were you on? I like both of their music. I do prefer Blur's output. Again, another iconic artist from the 80s, George Michael. Arguably Prince's greatest work, Sign of the Times. This is a duet with Sheena Easton, You Got the Look. When I hear this band, all I think of is early MTV, going to my cousin's house, watching, I think they had 6 or 7 videos in rotation, but we watched those endlessly. They never seemed to get old. This is Duran Duran, The Wild Boys. Another one of my favorite bands. This is Pearl Jam. I've been a fan since day one. I joined their fan club early on. I won a couple lotteries. I think I was in the first row at one concert, and I think the third row in another. But I've seen them several times. They're just like a fine wine. They get better with age. Eddie's never sounded so good. He just has an awesome voice. This is off Vitology, Not For You. Ooh, killer track. That definitely my favorite album in their catalog. Desert Island album, definitely one. This is Whole, Doll Parts, Off Live Through This. This album was kind of overshadowed by Kurt's death, but this is a flawless artistic statement. The whole album, it just rocks. I love it. My father was a huge fan of R&B music. Stevie was always on in our household. This is off of Songs in the Key of Life. This is Sir Duke. Man, the horns and the bass line, they mirror each other. Oh, it's just awesome. Awesome track. Seal, Prayer for the Dying. I love Trevor Horn as a producer. I love his lush style of recording, of arranging, and Seal's vocals are just phenomenal. Tears for Fears, Sowing the Seeds of Love. This is off their second LP. I remember going to my local grocery store to purchase their debut LP. I know, right? Records were sold everywhere back in the day, and this was an awesome follow-up. Saturday morning, I was on a bowling team with a bunch of my buddies. The bowling alley would always play songs by Guns N' Roses. I think all of the guys were rockers on the team except me. I was more into pop, the Smiths, Depeche Mode, but this was one band that we could all agree on. I don't know, their music always connected with me. Slash is just a genius on that guitar. Axl, people have very varied opinions on him, but he's just a phenomenally talented man. 10,000 Maniacs, What's the Matter Here? Always loved that band. Natalie Merchant joined this band when I think she was 16 or 17 years old. I love all of her work, her solo work. She is one of pop music's greatest lyricists, right up there with Dylan or Bruce. Great storyteller, always topical. I think I wore out 2 of these cassettes. This is off In My Tribe. I believe Verdi Cries was on that cassette as well. That is just a gorgeous track. Again, her lyrics, I just get lost in them. Great band from the 80s, Pet Shop Boys. I have endless 12-inch remixes and all of their albums. They just stand alone in kind of dance pop music. I always love them. This is a cover that really, excuse me, I have a bit of a cold. There weren't a lot of artists who covered Prince's music, especially the earlier recordings, and you really can't. He's just so singular in his style. This is one cover that really stands alone, and I like the cover a lot more than the original. And this is Nothing Compares to You by Sinead O'Connor. So sad that to hear of her passing recently, but she captured something in this recording that just, it's not in the original. It's beautiful. Death Cab for Cutie, I Will Possess Your Heart. Love this band. People they never talk about this great band in the VC. This is a great track. Of course, if you've seen any of my videos, you know I'm a huge fan of Ryan Adams. This is an alternative take of Come Pick Me Up. Great track. This is from the expanded edition of Heartbreaker. That album belongs in everyone's collection. I'm gonna grab all 3 of these singles because this is, again, I keep saying this is my favorite, but it's probably my favorite band of the 80s. REM. From their first EP, I just loved everything about that band. Just the way that they handled their career, to their songwriting, to their even split of the publishing, things that you don't think about. That's what contributed to such a great relationship. Michael Stipe was an artist, he a great photographer. He had a lot of input on the art direction of the albums. Everything just hit on all cylinders. This is a great sleeve. This is driver number 8. This is a beautiful white label promo. Great track. This is off of Fables of the Reconstruction. This is Can't Get There From Here. This is another promo. And one of my favorites, Don't Go Back to Rockville. Just an awesome band. Nirvana single. Love Sliver. Just huge fan of Nirvana. So many great bands within 4 or 5 years. Just really influential. Just kind of changed the course of rock, and this was one of them. Love the Chili Peppers. Breaking the Girl. Great song off of their iconic album. I think this is a UK pressing. Portishead, Machine Gun. Awesome track. I just love Portishead. I don't know what else to say. Had to include No Woman, No Cry, my favorite Bob Marley song. I just threw this one in. This is Yesterday, and I believe this was released on September the 13th. Not my birth year, but my birthday, so just kind of fun to include that one. Huge fan of Elton John. This is Candle in the Wind. This is the original recording, not the remake for Princess Diane. This was off Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. Just excellent. Of course, I've mentioned the Beasties before. This is Paul Revere, great track off of License to Ill. I grabbed some of my framed 45s. Come on, James Brown. There's nothing in hip hop or contemporary funk music that James Brown didn't do 40 or 50 years ago. There's nothing new. His musicians created the blueprint that everybody still uses. His two drummers, John and Clyde, they were the best funk drummers ever. The Clash, Should I Stay or Should I Go? Love this group, have all of their recordings. Of course, the Smiths, sad story. I still have all of my Smiths LPs, but a lot of my 45s were stolen from me, and I regret that. I will replace them all eventually one day. I never got into collecting Smiths 12-inch singles, which I regret. I don't know why I did not do that. I've seen so many beautiful ones lately in other videos. Let's see. Another band I love, this is Radiohead, Go to Sleep. This is off Hail to the Thief. Just a very influential band. Have to grab another one, early Prince, Uptown. Another band that was represented in that disco round case when I was a little boy, and that's the Everlys. And this is probably my favorite Everly song. This is Let It Be Me. That is such a beautiful song. Grabbed another track from James, Get on the Good Foot. Oh, that bass line. Forget about it. Bruce, My Hometown. I mentioned in my previous video, I was so looking forward to seeing him in concert. I hope they reschedule soon. There's a line in the song that I don't exactly know the exact lyrics, but he's on his father's lap and he's driving. His father's letting him steer as they ride through his hometown. I remember sitting on my dad's lap. He had a green Chevelle, and we would go into kind of an empty parking lot, and he would let me steer. And those are kind of some great memories of mine. Great track by Janet, If. Super funky, great sample from a Supreme song. Loved Janet growing up, saw her a couple times too. Just an amazing live performer. Next one is by Aretha, I Never Loved a Man. Beautiful track. Aretha, the greatest female vocalist of all time, in my opinion. And then we have Do Right Woman, Do Right Man. Classic tracks. Classic musicians backing her. Again, just another iconic photo of Prince. It's 1999. Just so badass. Another artist I really love, Elvis Costello. Watching the Detectives, and this is on Stiff. Really cool label. Another 10,000 Maniacs single. I just love that group. This is Trouble Me, beautiful song. This is by the Jayhawks, Blue. This is off Tomorrow. The Greengrass, what I consider to be their finest work. Just beautiful harmonies, great songwriting. This is Like a Prayer, another Madonna track. It's a promo. Fashion, my man David Bowie. Can't say enough about David. I will feature more of his music at one point. Next one is by Sade, Smooth Operator, Talking Heads. Their work speaks for itself. U2, another favorite group of mine. I love all of their albums through probably How to Dismantle an Atomic Bomb. Just great, great work. Of course, Joshua Tree being a high point. Run DMC. First wave of rap. Great, great, great. And then I picked a Rolling Stones sleeve. This includes Ruby Tuesday, one of my favorite songs. All right, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you soon.